My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing well. I just got here to Lone Wolf Mountain. When I opened the car door, the sun was out. But now it looks like rain. I don't know. I better get this tarp put up real quick and then we'll do some talking. It is actually raining right now, and the sun is out. Just like that, everybody, our tarp, our protection has been set up. As far as the weather goes, sunny, rain, sunny, cloudy. Who knows what is coming our way? What I do know is that I should just go ahead, get prepared for tonight, just in case good rain moves in. That breeze, everyone, feels incredible. Setting up the Kakadu block-out tent one person is super simple and at the same time very quick. I had this set up in about 5 minutes and I've never set it up before ever. With this tent here, this is an Australian made product. In fact, it tells you right here on the fly itself, proudly Australian. Think of this as a modern day swag tent. Oftentimes, the Australian swag tent is made with a canvas, which I'm not a big fan of when it comes to camping in general. With the setup here, I'm not using a mattress on the inside. I'm just gonna lay down on the cot so I can stay as cool as possible. I wanna test this out without a mattress and also with one. That way I can see how comfortable or uncomfortable it may be. I cannot wait to test this out, everybody. This is going to be really, really interesting. It has been a long time since I've taken a look at a swag tent. Is this a swag tent? In my opinion, no. Because it's lacking like the canvas material and whatnot, I wouldn't classify this as a swag. I could definitely see the inspiration though. Last year I focused on reviewing a lot of big tents. This year I want to focus on reviewing shelters from all around the world. With that being said, Kakadu products are available here in the United States and they offer quite a few options. Some of them are really cool looking. At the same time, very expensive. This tent here was $300 and it is different. Anything different, in my opinion, is good. That doesn't mean that this is going to be a good product, but I'm a fan of anything different. After spending, what, 11, 12 years here on YouTube of reviewing tents, seeing the same thing over and over and over again, seeing something new and different, it's exciting, plain and simple. What an unusual tent, everyone. I will do a preview on this tent in the future where I will go over every single feature. There are a lot of features to this. For an example, this is a door. We have a door right here. We have a door on the other side. We have 3 ways to enter this shelter. At the same time, it's an instant setup. So, I don't know how well this is going to perform in the rain with condensation and all that stuff, but without a doubt, it's cool. Let's take a second here and let's talk for a second. So initially my plan was to go out for a backpacking trip, but over the last couple of days my mother, her health has taken a turn for the worst. I've mentioned roughly 3 months ago and a few times in some videos that my mother was diagnosed with brain cancer. She was given 3 months to live. How much time she had left that was given to her was very much accurate. So for the most part, she's gone now. So, yesterday I went by So yesterday I went by to say goodbye, and basically everybody's just taking turns. Someone's gonna be with her when she passes away. It could be me, maybe not, but that's basically why I'm out here at Lone Wolf Mountain today. I have this minimal setup. The vehicle is pointed towards the exit of Lone Wolf Mountain. So if I need to, I can break all of this down and I can go be with my family. But yeah, she's gone. But yeah. So initially I was going to go out for a backpacking trip, but because of these events, I didn't want to go really far away, you know? Like, this is about an hour and 20 minutes from where she's at, and that's far enough. I didn't need to go up into the mountains, out in the middle of nowhere. This is already out in the middle of nowhere, but not that far out. So, yeah. We will return to our regular scheduled programming soon enough with backpacking adventures and whatnot. But, I needed to get out. I needed to come out here to Lone Wolf Mountain. I needed to be by myself, absorb everything, process it all, and that's what I'm doing. And we'll do it with my friends here on this beautiful day. With the type of cancer that she has, there's no beating it. There is no surviving it. Most people die within a year. It's common for people to die within 3 months. Very few live after the year point. There were some things that could have been done to extend her life. They could have done surgery, chemo, radiation, but by the time that she was having symptoms, went to the hospital, found out she had what she had or has, it was too late. She was too weak for any of that stuff. I will say though, while she was pretty much stripped of everything as far as ability goes, she didn't suffer as much as I thought she was going to. I guess it's really common with a lot of people to have seizures and whatnot, and it can be really bad, really, really bad. But while she's been bedridden the entire time, I mean, she's been able to, have conversations and eat food and have drinks, so on and so forth. And I mean, really, up until about a week ago, she was really doing pretty good. The cancer was definitely doing its thing, and that was obvious. Every day, like, the things that she would say made less and less sense. She was really beginning to go out there. In a way, I think that's a good thing. Like, in her head, she was visiting with family, making amends with certain people. She was having a lot of fun, even though it really wasn't happening. But to her, it was. And that made her happy. So, as it stands now, she's just sleeping, and all of her stats have begun dropping. I don't think it'll be today or even tomorrow, but it's coming soon, next couple of days. Going in your sleep, that's not bad. That's not a bad way to go. It's better than getting struck by lightning or mauled by a bear, which, could happen in the outdoors, right? This cheers is for my mom. This tent has a crazy shape to it, doesn't it? When you look at this in the shape, what do you think of? In my mind, this is shaped like something, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. Maybe from the first Star Wars movie. Like the, I don't know, some machine or something. I can't remember what it's called. Maybe that's what it looks like. I don't know. As it stands right now, we have some really dark clouds coming this way. Every once in a while we'll have like a little shower. So far it's been super light. Now, talking about rain, it has rained all morning long. Everything out here is soaking wet. The chance of rain later on today and tonight is rather high. Maybe we'll get to waterproof test this, maybe not. If it doesn't rain, I will raise up the side panel here and stake it out. The Kakadu tent comes with 2 poles so that you can set up one of the doors. And again, this has 3, one on each side and a front door over here. So if it doesn't rain tonight, we may stake this out so that we have good airflow. The clouds that are coming this way, everyone, are looking rather dark. Because of that, I'm going to go ahead and reinforce my tarp setup here. Basically pull out the walls a bit, just in case heavy rain is on the way. The tarp is now ready, everyone. No matter what comes our way, we are in good shape. The clouds from the west are really, really dark. I'm not hearing any thunder though, but they're dark. By the way, everyone, I was alerted by a viewer that my good buddy, Tony, at AB Camping, he had something to say about me the other day. And I went over to his channel, I watched his video, and Tony, that hurt me bad. Really, really bad, as you can tell. So, just in case you do not know, Tony and I, we are really good buds, and we like picking on each other. So, I struck back at him some time back, actually months back, now that I think about it. And, like, it has taken him forever to retaliate. And so the best that he could come up with was that I was short or something like that. Folks, I'm average height for like the average male around the world, okay? So I'm not the tallest guy out there. Tall enough. But that was the best that he could come up with. I've been waiting for so long for him to retaliate against me for what I said about him. And I also shared all those pictures with him and his monkey. It's a literal monkey, not that monkey. Anyways, I just thought with like his advanced age that he had forgotten about this. You know, something that you all don't know about Tony is that Tony is getting up there. And he's very concerned about his appearance and whatnot, so he dyes his facial hair and his hair and all that stuff. You know, the dentures and the whole works. But, since he was talking about my height, I'll just go ahead and I'll share some pictures of what Tony actually looks like without all of the beard dye, the hair dye, and all that stuff. That's right, everyone. Tony's getting up there, and that's why it takes him so long to get everything done. That's why his videos are so long. It's like 30 minutes to set up a tent, an hour to process firewood and all that stuff. Tony, I love you, man. I hope you're doing well. Cheers. Cheers to you all too, everybody watching. All right. Now, everyone, I need to think about what I'm going to do next. It's too wet to burn any of the wood out here. It's been raining just about every single day. Yesterday, 3 inches. The day before, I think it's like 1.5 inches. Day before, inches of rain. We are in this wet pattern right now where it just rains every single day. Luckily, the temperatures right now are not bad. I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's only like 66 degrees right now. I mean, the humidity is like 100%, but it's not bad. It's not bad right now. how this feels, but if we were inside of this tent with it all sealed up, I'm concerned about this. We do have a small vent at the back. No vent at the front, nothing on the sides here. Vents on tents don't do anything as far as airflow goes. Very, very little. I'm concerned, but ultimately we'll see how this tent performs. Maybe it's just the wind that I'm hearing, but it almost sounds like I can hear rain coming through the forest coming this way. I guess we'll find out in just a minute. The rain is picking up. The temperature drop is incredible. It went from like 66 or something to like 50 something. I don't have time to check. But it's chilly, everyone. Feels great. Let's go, baby, here it comes. All right, folks, let's see whether or not this tent is waterproof. It's raining, not terribly hard, enough to soak everything again. More than anything, it's just dropped the temperature, and it feels super, super good right now. And just like that, the sun comes out and the temp goes back up. The other day, my son and his buddy, they were out for a night hike. As they were out hiking, it started raining and storming. They said that they were absolutely soaked all the way through with all of their clothing and whatnot, but they had the time of their lives hiking the trails. I think they did like 8 miles in the rain, in the storms, and loved it. If you all ever get the chance to go out for a night hike in the rain, you should totally do it. It is so much fun. It really is. Heck, just coming out, setting up a tarp, being out in the rain, that's a lot of fun too. I will say, everyone, the temperature rebound is incredible. I mean, as that little wave came in, the temps dropped into the 50s, and right now it is coming back up in the 60s, and it is so humid and muggy. Like, my sunglasses are fogging up. It's actually pretty miserable. I mean, granted, it's not like 90 and super humid, but compared to what we just experienced, to be able to feel that temperature shifting taking place so quickly, that's rather neat. Talking about gear from around the world, this stove here is from Japan. This is what they call a cassette stove. The design is unlike anything we have here in the United States. There's certainly nothing like this in Canada. As far as Europe goes, I've never seen anything like this either. This is, without a doubt, a very unique product isolated to Japan. And I love it. I think it's super, super cool. It works incredibly well. And luckily, you can get it here in the United States. yeah, everybody, that is a good cup of coffee. What I've done here, just in case you do not know, is that I've made cowboy coffee. Basically, you take your water, you get it to a boil, you insert your coffee grounds, you let it boil. I like to let it go for about 5 minutes, and then I turn off the gas. I let it sit for a few minutes, I add cold water in the center, and I dump cold water down the spout of the kettle. When you pour the water in the center, you're causing all of the coffee grounds to sink to the bottom. When you pour water down the spout, you're cleaning out the spout so you do not get any coffee grounds inside of your cup. The benefits to making cowboy coffee are many. For one, the flavor is much better than your average cup of coffee. 2, low acidity. If you have any sort of stomach problems, drinking cowboy coffee may be a solution, because when you make coffee this way, it's really easy on your stomach. If you've been around on the channel long enough, you know that a number of years ago, I was in Colorado testing out a water filter. I was out on a trip and it was leaking. And I mentioned that I was really nervous about that trip. Well, I drank contaminated water due to a faulty water filter that caused ulcers in my stomach. That messed me up for years. It took forever to get that solved. It's at that point that I started making cowboy coffee. I remember my grandparents making it when I was a kid. I remember them talking about the low acidity. Well, and there you go. I no longer have any issues with my stomach, but I continue to like making cowboy coffee. Not only does it make a better cup of coffee, but at the same time, it slows me down, right? It makes me stop, calm down, pay attention to what's around me, because the process is a little bit slow. If you're all about speed and convenience, you can make instant coffee, but if you have the time, nothing beats cowboy coffee. The rain is coming in now. Along with it, we have a good breeze and the temperature is dropping again. More light rain, everyone. Just a passing shower. The next round of light rain is here. Rain event number 51 for this trip. We really haven't had heavy rain with this adventure at all, but it's just been on, off, on, off, on, off. As you all have seen, I went ahead and I set up my fire pit, and that's because tonight it's rather cool. We're not going to have many opportunities to have a fire, so we should do that tonight. That's going to be nice. For dinner tonight, we're keeping it simple. Really, really simple. I have a real termite meal over here. Super good. I can't wait for it. Those meals, while hard to get in the United States, are incredibly good. I cannot wait to have that. I spoke with my dad a little while ago, got an update on my mom. Her condition continues to deteriorate. Her blood oxygen level is now below 80, and like her blood pressure is dropping too. So the end is coming soon, and I'm thankful that she's sleeping through it. The nurses do not believe that she'll pass away tonight. They believe it'll be in about 72 hours. That's the current estimate. So my plan is just to finish up this trip while what's taking place with my mother is awful. Being out here helps counter that. Naturally, I'm upset about what's taking place, but my mother and I, we've said to each other what we needed to. And I'm good there, and I think she is too. So she would want me to be out here instead of just sitting around her bed, which I will spend some time sitting around her bed, but for tonight, I'm out here with you all, listening to the rain, listening to the forest, and everything is going to be okay. It just dawned on me, folks, that the forest is really, really quiet. Oftentimes when that happens, it's a sort of precursor. The forest will go quiet and then there's a change in the weather. We'll see what happens, but I would not be surprised at all if it starts raining in just a little bit. For dinner tonight, everyone, I have a wild story to share. A story that comes from a place that we have camped at before. A few months back, we were camping at a certain location, and I said I would not return back until it got cold out because of all of the venomous snakes, primarily the timber rattlers. The area just has a ton of snakes, and I just tend to stay away from that location during the summer months, during the warmer months. Well, somebody was out there and somebody got hurt. Somebody had to be rescued, and it cost them a fortune. I have to say, this is the weirdest looking tent I think I've ever purchased. Every time I look at this thing, I'm thinking like laundry hamper or some sort of ship from a sci-fi movie or something. I mean, this thing looks weird. This is the weirdest cot tent I've ever seen. I'm not sure if the design makes sense here. I'm going to save my thoughts for the preview, but this is super bizarre. What do you all think about this? Comment down below. We have heavy rain coming our way. I can hear it rushing through the forest right now. That, everyone, is why the forest has been so quiet. Here we go. We have a storm moving in. I have eaten just about all of my dinner, and I haven't even spoken to you all. So good. I will put that to the side for a minute so we can talk. So, a few months back, we had gone off the mountain to a campsite. I don't remember exactly why we went down there. Maybe it was like super windy up here in the mountains, but we dropped off of the mountains, went to this really nice campsite. While there, I mentioned that I would not return until it got cold again because there's so many venomous snakes in that area. A few years back, I almost stepped on a timber rattlesnake out there. That was a very close call. That could have been a very serious situation. The situation that a young man just found himself in. So, I think it was about 2 weeks ago. This young man, I want to say he was 17 years old. Him and his buddy were camping in that area. So they're camping in the area, and they've gone out to do some fishing. And so they're walking around through the woods, going from one fishing hole to the other. This young man steps over a log. He didn't look to see what was underneath it. When he stepped over it, he felt something, a slight prick. And he looked down, and he saw just a little bit of blood coming out of his shoe. And that's when he started hearing the rattle, the shake of the rattle. There was a large, very large timber rattlesnake underneath that log. And when he stepped over, that was too close, and it bit him. The thing about timber rattlesnakes is this: they are extremely dangerous. Luckily, they're not very aggressive. They only strike when they have to. Here in North Carolina, they are federally protected. You can't kill them. The truth is, their numbers have been waning for a long time. So like in this area where he was bitten at, It's one of the last refuges for these snakes in our area. In this situation, the young man had hiked roughly 2 miles away from camp. He's been bitten by a very large timber rattlesnake, so him and his buddy call for help. A large search and rescue operation was launched, including the National Guard. A Black Hawk helicopter came in, rescued this kid, and took him over to Johnson City, Tennessee. That's because there's no large hospitals in this area. It's very much remote. We have small hospitals, but nothing that's capable of taking care of such a serious incident as this. By the time it was all said and done, he spent 3 days in the hospital. He received, I want to say it was either 12 or 13 vials of anti-venom. All of this amounted to a bill of roughly $250,000. $250,000, folks. Each one of those vials is like $12,000, something like that. It's a lot. I am not afraid of snakes at all, and I have nothing against venomous snakes. But that area, that part of the Pisgah National Forest, I've seen so many snakes there. So many. I just know better. I know not to go in there fooling around during the summer months, during the hottest months. You cannot be careful enough. So that's just my perspective. There's people that go in there all the time. They never have any issues. But for myself, I like to go off trail so much. Again, you can only look so much. So in this case, the kid is okay, and that's fantastic news. But gosh, what a scary situation. In the area that I'm talking about, there's two main types of venomous snakes: copperheads and timber rattlesnakes. Copperheads deform, timber rattlesnakes kill. So without a doubt, this kid was very lucky to get out of there alive. Whew, what a situation. The interesting thing about a snake bite is that you generally don't really feel it. It feels like a prick, not even a bee sting. It's kind of funny, after I read that news story, every article after that was about snakes. You know how everything tracks you, your phone, when you're searching online and all that stuff. It tries to present you with information that it finds relevant for you. Anyways, so I saw a headline. I don't remember what state the article originated from. It was a state that has rattlesnakes. But the headline was something along the lines of like, what do you do if you can't call for help and you get bit by a rattlesnake? And it's funny, I saw that article, and then I saw like 3 or 4 other ones, basically all with the same sort of headline. Every single article basically said, go to a hospital. That's all you could do. And that's the truth. There's nothing else to do besides go to a hospital. Snake kits don't work. Let's say that a snake bites you on the hand. You can't take your pocket knife and cut it. You can't suck out the venom or anything like that. That stuff is only for the movies. It does not work in real life. The only thing that you can do is go to a hospital. That's it. Plain and simple. Anyways, everyone, I saw that it was the same location that we had been camping at, and I wanted to share that story. I sure am glad that kid's okay. Those timber rattlesnakes, they can get so large. On average, 5 feet long. But they can get up to 7 feet. Thankfully, they're not aggressive, but they can kill you. Throughout my childhood, growing up here in the mountains, I've heard stories about the reintroduction of rattlesnakes into this area. According to those stories, this was being done by like helicopters and planes. They were dropping these rattlesnakes off all over the mountains here. Basically a reintroduction effort. Some years back, I actually looked into this, and it's not true. Apparently this story has gone around not only Western North Carolina, but like numerous states. And it's never taken place, it's never happened. Even when I was a kid hearing those stories, I questioned whether or not that was true. That seemed like the most expensive way to go about reintroducing rattlesnakes into this area possible. Dropping them from planes and helicopters, there's got to be an easier, less expensive way. And apparently there is. So that's just complete nonsense. You may have even heard this story in your area. It's not true. It didn't happen. Speaking of good stories, I have one for you. In this small little area of Western North Carolina, there's no venomous snakes. Specifically, there's no timber rattlesnakes. So the question's been proposed why that is. Why aren't they here? Nobody actually knows. But there is a story that explains this. So if you go back a long time ago, you had the Cherokee Indians in this area, and they left. And then you had white people coming in. Basically, you had white people escaping from the coast, from the cities, getting away from rule of law. Sometimes these were bad individuals. Sometimes these were people just wanting to get away, getting out from underneath the thumb of others. So they came up here to make a life of their own, to follow their own rules. According to these stories, there was a lot of death in this area due to rattlesnakes. So they decided that as fall was coming on, they were going to follow these rattlesnakes back to their den and wipe them out. And so they did. And all of the rattlesnakes in the area went to a single den on top of a mountain. They knew where the rattlesnakes were. So they waited out the fall. They waited out the winter. They waited out the spring. Back then it was a whole lot colder up here. So in the summertime, when it got warm enough, the snakes started coming out. But the people that were here were ready for them. They stood above the den, and as the snakes came out, they killed them one after another. Thousands and thousands of rattlesnakes. And that is the story. That's the story why there's no rattlesnakes here. Is there any truth to that story? Probably. There's probably some truth. Was it one gigantic den? No, that's not true. Did someone go up to a rattlesnake den and kill some snakes as they came out in the summer? Probably. Does this explain why there's no rattlesnakes here? No. I don't know why. Another great mystery for this area is the fact that there's very few mosquitoes. You may have noticed, I never talk about mosquitoes. I'm not covering myself in bug spray and stuff like that. And it's because we really don't have them here. Why that is, I don't know. You can go, as I mentioned, 10 miles this way, that way, and so on. There's something about the mountains in this one spot. It's just not conducive for mosquitoes and rattlesnakes. Everything else we have tons of, you know, ticks and whatnot, but I sure am glad though. Growing up in Florida, the mosquitoes were unbelievable. And then of course you would have the trucks that would come by every couple of days and they would spray who knows what. Anytime those trucks came through the area, all of us kids, we would just take off running. We would run home, shut the doors, shut the windows. Who knows what that stuff was? I wonder if they still do that. I mean, naturally up here, we don't spray for mosquitoes, but at least in that area that I lived in Florida, they did. I sure am lucky to live where I do. I just love it. There's something really nice about not having to worry about mosquitoes or being able to walk through the forest without having to worry about a copperhead or a rattlesnake. When I lived in Florida, I'm sure I've told this story, we were living in this one little neighborhood and it was poor. I mean, dirt poor. And there was a neighbor girl and she was my girlfriend and she was quite a bit older than I was. And we were constantly making out. And so in her yard, was this big like wire, like it was like a wooden spool that like wire would go around. And I remember like playing on that thing, and basically it was big enough that you can like lay on top of it and kind of roll back and forth. And so I rolled over and I came back, and on my wrist was a scorpion, and it stung me, and my wrist swelled up to the size of a softball. But I was okay. You know, now that I think about it, my parents didn't take me to the doctor or to the hospital because of that. Maybe they should have. I don't know. I don't know anything about scorpions, and I don't know anything about the scorpions in that area either. That was a long time ago. No, I've never been bitten by a snake or anything like that. The closest was a couple of years ago with that rattlesnake. Gosh, I remember that instance to this day. That's the closest I've ever come to a FUBAR situation. Out in the middle of nowhere, no cell phone service. To this day, I remember the look of that snake staring at me. I am so glad those snakes are not aggressive. I was lucky. I do remember some of the dumb ass comments that were on that video. There was one guy who was questioning, what did he say? It was something along the lines of like, I think that snake was dead and you put it there. Even though that snake was elevated and its tongue was coming out. It's really funny talking to my friends who do YouTube and whatnot about the comments. Everybody gets weird comments. Like, people can't possibly be that dumb, you know? Maybe they are though. Anyways, folks, I'm going to stand around the fire here for a while, enjoy it. The evening is nice and cool. It's possible there's more rain on the way, but we will see. But here in a couple of hours, we'll hop inside of the tent and we'll see how the night goes inside of that thing. As an update, everyone, it's a little bit after 10:30. It's about time for me to turn in for the night. I'm planning to open up this side, this awning. That way I can get some airflow. So with this tent, it comes with 2 poles so that you can open up an awning. I'm going to use one of them. They're rather tall, and they're actually meant for this front awning instead of the side. I'm going to use one of the poles that came with this tent, and I'm going to use it right here. Then I'm going to use a green elephant pole and use it on this side because it's quite a bit lower than that side there. So that's the plan, folks. It is time to go to bed. I'm going to get this all set up, and I'll see you all when I'm inside of the tent. Everyone, I'm going to bed. I'm gonna hop inside of this tent. Unfortunately, there's not much space inside of this, which is something I will talk about in my preview. Anyways, I'm going to bed. I'm gonna leave this open. If it begins to rain, I will shut it. So wish me luck, everyone. I will see you all in the morning. Good night for now.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's a little bit after midnight, and as you can hear, it is pouring outside. No thunder, but a lot of rain. I do have the awning up. Right now, the rain is just falling straight down, so it's not an issue. But if the winds do pick up, I'll have to shut them. So far, so good, even though this tent is leaking. That's right, everyone. This tent has been leaking from 3 locations. There are toggles on both sides of this tent that are used for the awnings so that you can roll them up. This tent leaks from those toggles. So it's leaking over here, dripping onto the mesh, down at the foot. It's actually dripping into the tent and onto the cot. So it's a little bit wet. Over here on this side, don't believe it's making its way down to the mesh, but it's definitely leaking some. So is this tent waterproof? No. No, it's not. That's the update, everyone. I'm gonna go back to bed. See you in the morning at 5 a.m.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's a little bit after 5 a.m. and it is a cool, wet, damp morning. It's been misting rain, if not raining, basically all night long. Luckily, the rain just came straight down, so I was able to leave that awning open, and I was really comfortable inside of that. I stayed cool. That's a benefit to a cot tent. I will say though, inside of this, trying to fall asleep, and I was thinking about the size of it. If you're going to be car camping, overlanding, why not have a bigger tent? I don't see the reason why this product exists. I just don't understand it. If you do, comment down below and let me know. Because like, my perspective is, if you're gonna go out overlanding, car camping, why not have a much larger tent? Why not have a ton of space? Why not be supremely comfortable? Like, that thing's comfortable, but it's hard to get into. Like, if it's raining, that would be really difficult to get into. And also to get out of. Getting out on the side, that's easy enough, but still a chore. But getting out of the front, that would be tough. Anyways, that's what I was thinking about. This company does have larger tents, but they are really, really expensive. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. It's a little bit after 5 o'clock in the morning, like I said. My plan is to hang out here until sunup. Gonna break everything down, go home, take a shower, and then go spend some time with my mom. I mentioned yesterday that she's gone now, and I do believe that. But with that being said, I don't know that. So I'm gonna sit there for a couple of hours and talk to her. That's what everyone's been doing. My brother and I, my dad, Susie. We've just been talking about things that we know that she's interested in, things that were important to her. So that's a plan. Last night, or I should say this morning, it was about 2 a.m. my phone went off. A flood watch has been issued for this area. It begins at 12 p.m. and it ends at 12 a.m. We've been having heavy rain every single day for weeks now. There's water just coming out of everything. And they expect that there's a good chance today of heavy, heavy rain, possibly storms. So that's what's going on weather-wise. I did look at the radar when I woke up, and there's like little showers all around us. I didn't see anything that was going to impact us anytime soon, but they're out there. This coffee is amazing. I don't remember what type it is. A viewer sent this in, but it is really good. Thank you, everybody, for the coffee. I do appreciate it. Cheers. You know, everyone, I talk a lot about the weather on this channel. I'm sure you noticed it. It might even drive you crazy. But the thing is, when you live in a rainforest, like, the weather is paramount. It's that one element that's going to impact your life one way or another, non-stop, every single day. It's something I'm thinking about, I'm talking about. Everybody's thinking and talking about it. No matter what type of work that you do, it's important. So let's say if you're working construction, how many dry hours today can I get in? Then you're wondering how much rain is going to fall. If you're a parent, you're thinking about your kids getting off the school bus or getting on the school bus and all that stuff. Here in the mountains, again in this rainforest, it's a big deal. I mean, the rain is going to alter your day, so you really do have to kind of have your shit together, so to speak. A lot of people are not going to understand the importance of it, of that information, but to the people that live here, it is vital. And that's why, one of the reasons why I get so frustrated, everybody gets frustrated with like the weather forecast and whatnot. Everything's so inaccurate. And when they're wrong, I mean, it's a big deal, or it can be at least. When I was a young man doing construction on different job sites and whatnot, different projects, I remember the frustration of the foreman, right? The contractor. The rain, I mean, it could make or break your day. And when you're talking about having that many people on the job site, that much time and money in play, it's very complicated, and at the same time can be really frustrating. Really frustrating. I'm glad I don't do construction any longer. I never did like it. Everything had to be too specific, and that just drove me nuts. That's just not who I am. I don't like measuring, you know, tenths of an inch and all that stuff. I don't like how everything has to be so perfect, and it really does. Or at least For myself, it has to be. I don't want there to be any gaps. I want it to look its best. And when you're doing construction, oftentimes things don't look their best if you look closely. It's really, really difficult to do that. And so that's just not who I am. It just drove me mad. Anyways. Already, the sky is beginning to lighten up. Here in a little bit, it'll be time to pack up. I do want to thank you all very much for your understanding and your patience in regards to the last couple of months with my mom and all that stuff. I've had to reprioritize some of the adventures and whatnot. I've been able to put up an adventure every single week, along with staying on top of everything else, all of my other obligations, but I've definitely had to change things up, so to speak. We've done a lot of truck camping, overlanding sort of stuff, and hopefully you all have had a good time with me. Like I said yesterday, we'll get back to our regular scheduled programming soon enough. I'm interested to go back to the Green Forest, where I had that strange experience a few weeks ago. I heard something or someone walking around camp, like in the forest, and then I heard like a crashing sound in the middle of the night, and then there was that tree right in the middle of the game trail that I'd taken to get to where I camped at. But the thing is, I couldn't figure out where the tree came from. So, I don't know. I have no idea. A lot of people wrote in, said it was Bigfoot. I don't believe in Bigfoot, so, you know, I don't have a good explanation, and that makes me want to go back. So we will be going back. We'll see what happens. But I'm ready to get back out there, do some exploring. Everyone, it is time for me to say goodbye. Time for me to break everything down. And time for me to go home. I want to thank you all very much for joining me on this trip and for going through this journey with me as far as my mom goes. It's been a pretty awful last couple of months, and you all certainly have helped make it better. I appreciate all the kind words, the messages, and all that stuff. I do appreciate it. By the time this video goes up, my mom will be on to her next adventure, and next week we will be on to ours. If you enjoyed this trip, hit the thumbs up. I do appreciate it. Until next time, be good, be safe, strength and honor. Bye for now.